Do you ever feel like you just spend way too much time on tasks that don't really feel like it moves the needle, like looking for files or clearing your computer after the 50th time that Photoshop doesn't open? Well, I've been there, and so over the last 7 years of working as a designer, I have found lots of different ways to make sure that I keep things easy and I save a lot of time. So today I thought I would share 6 of those with you to make sure that you just have a better time working as a designer. The first one has to do with where you save your files. So I used to have folders on my computer and then have a backup system where I manually went in and uploaded it to both my hard drive and my cloud storage. And sure, that was fine, but a lot of times I was really busy, I forgot to update things, or maybe I forgot if I saved it just on the cloud or on the drive if I was busy, and it was just quite hard to find things sometimes. Also, I had an incident where my laptop broke and I had to get another laptop, and I had some things that I just didn't have time to back up. And these times are just so frustrating because, especially when you've done great work or when a client comes back and needs a file and you have to look for it or recreate it, that just takes way too much unnecessary time. So what I do now is I actually use Creative Cloud and I use that on my desktop. And this way, basically what you can do is you just set a folder in your menu and then you can create your file structure around that. Anything that you save there will be connected to your Creative Cloud. So if you go on your friend's computer or your own computer breaks, it will all be saved on the cloud. The next one is for anyone who's using, let's say, Illustrator or InDesign. And this is to always embed images and other links. So I used to feel like a lot of times I just wasn't bothered to embed everything. I was putting things in, I wasn't sure if I was going to use it. And then at the end, I wanted to use something and it just wasn't available. Or I wanted to send something to my colleague and they weren't able to open it. And so these things are just something that became a habit for me, and it saves so much time. So if you're in Illustrator, all you have to do is click on the image and click embed, and then that image will be linked in the document and you don't have to have the source file anymore. So same thing in InDesign, all you have to do is go to links, then right click on each of the images and then click embed link. This is also just a good practice if, let's say, you're sending something to a printer or to another company, they will always have access and you don't have to go back and embed them and then send it back to them. The next tip is to gather all of your files that you need from clients or maybe even collaborators through Kayla. So I used to have clients who sent me lots of attachments and emails. I even had one situation where they sent me like 20 different emails with one image in each. And so what happened was I always had to go look for these emails or look for their Dropbox or Drive folder, download everything and upload it to my own business's system. So we created Kayla instead for you to be able to do this automatically. So if you're curious, I put a link to the free 30-day trial so you can go check that out in the description. My next tip is for marketing. And we all know that marketing can take basically an infinite amount of time, especially if you're looking for more clients. And so my best tip is to create a strategy, batch create, and then to schedule everything in a tool like Later. This is something I consistently underestimate myself. So when I have a flow of, let's say, 6 months where actually everything is scheduled, everything is batch created, I just am so much happier at work. I know that marketing is working, I know that sales are happening, and I don't have to constantly worry about what I'm going to post next. If you're curious about that, I actually made a video about it, so you can go check it up here. This next one is something I noticed people aren't always doing when I was talking to a colleague of mine, and that is to schedule your emails. So a lot of times I don't like to start replying to people at the end of the day, or maybe, because I have a kid, I might be working at like odd hours and I just don't want to send off emails then. But instead of stressing about sending them off next day when you want to get into a good routine or into a good workflow, I just schedule them the day before. This next one is huge, and that is to avoid misunderstandings and scope creep and confusion and just create a better relationship with your client by creating a joint brief before you start. And so I used to get a brief from the client. They used to tell me what they needed. I created a proposal where I sort of interpreted it and we agreed on that. And then there would always be things that came up like, oh, actually, I want to change my company name, or actually, we aren't sure who our target audience is and we need to define that. And all these things are stuff that's creeping into your project budget. So I use a tool called Brief to make sure that I'm setting up those joint goals with the client And having that sign off from the client is a really good way to make sure that if something comes up, you can refer back to it and say, that's great, let's include it, that's outside of this project fee, and we're just going to add that to the budget if you like. If you're curious about how to get started with Olive Brief, I actually made a whole video on it, and so you can go and check that out here. I really hope this was helpful, and I'd love to hear your tips to save time and have a better work life. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with your projects.